Because the world is of possibilities. The mind doesn't get that. The mind is always good, bad, right, wrong, left, right, up, down. I say salt, you say pepper. What's the opposite of vanilla? Most people say chocolate. Makes no sense. But the mind loves that stuff. Versus what we are is light. What we are is love. What we are is every color of the rainbow. And we pretend mentally to live in a black and a white world.
You're listening to Inspire Me with Jay, where science meets spirit and stories of meditation and the near-death experience awaken what's possible within us all. I'm Jay, and this is your moment to be inspired. Welcome to Inspire Me with Jay. I have a guest today, 2020. How are you?
Jay, I'm fantastic. I'm really excited to have a chat with you today and share some. I've got a wild 3-step mindless manifesting journey that moved me around the world. And when I saw your post asking for guests, I just had a great feeling. So, and I always run with great feelings. So it's a pleasure to meet you today and to share some goodies with your people.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you too. So why don't you tell the audience about your what you do and what you discovered?
Cool. My journey begins far, far away. I currently live in a little place called Eltham in Victoria, Australia. We're right outside of Melbourne. And the word Eltham translates into the village or home of God, which I find fascinating to me, given what we're talking about today. And this is really, really cool because when I first formally uh, learned formal meditation, I had a gun shop, I sold military stuff, I had PTSD, and I just wanted to sort my life out. So I went to this, a lot of people call it like a new age health show. And I'm just chatting with vendors, picking up pamphlets and stuff. And this lovely, almost hypnotic lady looks at me and says, "Would you like to win a meditation lesson?" And I could just, I was already exploring how imagining creates reality. And I'm just settling, I'm listening to her, and I could just feel myself feeling a little bit of silence. And I said, "Absolutely." So I filled out my name. This is on a Saturday. She calls me Monday when I'm at my shop and says, "Hey, this is Dee Gans. Uh, you won. You won the manifesting lesson." I told her I imagined that. So this is cool. How do we do this? And she goes, "I can come to you. You can come to me." So Dee takes a little time. And she drives to Connellsville, Pennsylvania, where I have my little military store. And she's teaching me mantra meditation. And she does what she does. She teaches me what she considers to be a sacred, secret word for me. And I really enjoyed that experience. And so that was the first phase. The second phase took me back to the woods. I'd been beaten to death when I was 23 years old. I was a rookie corrections officer at Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. And I came out of that with a near-death experience in PTSD, the best and the worst that life could offer. And it was trippy because I'd had an experience that revealed to me in a new way that we don't die. And I had an experience that was preventing me from living. I found myself literally in my mind seeing echoes in the darkness from my past, time and time again. And the mantra meditation gave to me, exploring imagining creates reality was given to me. But I was drawn back to the woods. At first, I was going to the woods to get away from humanity. I figured if I can go learn how to survive in the woods, I don't got to worry about people bothering me or beating me up. And so I decided to learn from the Native Americans how to live simply in the woods. And so I spent a lot of time in the woods and listening to the birds song, listening to the birds, learning how to read tracks and signs and hear the stories that were all around me. And I discovered that the adventure in the woods was just like mantra meditation. Instead of me focusing on a mantra and letting that consume all else, I found myself focusing on nature, on the woods, on movement, on being invisible. Uh, Along that period of time, I was given the name He Who Walks with the Deer because I would walk with the deer. Uh, just experiencing the flow of nature in my day-to-day life. And that stayed with me when I left the woods, when I went on and just went back into just normal experience. And my third bit, and this is the part that I call the mindless meditation that moved me around the world. The mind seems to be dedicated to one thing from what I can tell, and that's no. But the human brain loves to say no. No to everything. No, I don't want to do this call with Jay. No, I don't want to do this. The mind always finds ways to say no or not no. And so what I gleaned from mantra, what I gleaned from movement in the woods, stayed with me. And the way it continues to give takes me way back to the beginning. One of my passions is biblical Hebrew. Altham, where we live, means home or village of God. In the name of Jesus, the name of Jesus in Hebrew is different than the name of God. In the name of Jesus, there's what's called the digestive fire, the shin, and it looks like a tooth when it's written. And there's the ayin, which is what they say means the eye that sees. So in the name of Jesus in Hebrew, it literally translates to seeing with sacred fire. And so what I experience and explore now is when focused on mantra, there's something that consumes all else. When focused on movement in the moment in the woods, there's something that consumes all else. My current experience, I teach something really interesting and simple that I call the 2020 Power Walk. And it's a mindless walking meditation. The mindless walking meditation is really, really simple. Take a walk, Jay. As you take a walk, simply hold in love or imagine lovingly everyone who passes you and anyone who pops into mind. And when I go back to my Catholic school days and biblical Hebrew, Neville Goddard, who's a fellow that I just adore, he's dead now, but his teachings are pretty cool, says that Jesus Christ is your own wonderful human imagination. And I noticed the eye that sees, the sacred eye, the process of seeing with sacred fire. Anytime I feel stuck or lost in my mind, I do mindless meditation. I take a little walk. And for example, you popped into mind today during my walk because I knew we had an appointment. And there's cars driving past me. And a little girl walks past me. And a teenage boy walks past me. And there's a guy on the corner with his cane. And I simply behold them all in love. And I love that, from what I can tell, mindless meditation redeems. They say the name of Jesus has the fire in the eye, and Jesus is the Redeemer. And what redeems us from this mental madness of the world, what redeems the world through that, is this experience of, I see you with sacred sight. I behold you as love. And in any moment where you're lost in the mental, you're love that doesn't notice that it's love. And the stillness that we are invites the magic in the moment. So that's my intro. How's that to begin?
Yeah, that was good. You know, when you said you had a near-death experience, did you actually
Yeah,
see anything during that experience?
yeah, it was a real interesting bit. It was divine and devastating at the same time.
Well, did your near-death experience sort of trigger something in you that, probably opened you up to meditation at a later point?
Great question. I would say yes. When I was 7 or 8 years old, my grandma died. And when she died, uh, we had long funerals back in Pennsylvania. At least it felt long. And every night I'd go to bed and she'd chat with me. And every day would go to the funeral home and she was dead. And my mom says every day I'd put notes in her casket. I was taking notes and putting them in her casket so she'd remember. Uh, but that was probably the first thing that I can remember that I was open to other experience or some sort of an expansive experience. Uh, the near death experience just took that a lot deeper for me and invited me to notice I'm the stillness of the ocean, that all the waves happen within. The waves being emotions and thoughts and perceptions and observations. I'm the stillness of the ocean. And what we do is we get hooked on all the waves and the shit the waves are pushing around. And we don't have to. It's all for entertainment. You know, the waves are designed to be surfed and sailed. And, a lot of times we try to fight the waves. And that mental madness, as you would know, doesn't get us anywhere. It's exhausting.
So, like when you do your meditation and you hold love, is it sort of like you feel it in the center of your chest? Is it sort of like centering yourself?
It started that way. Years and years ago, it started as this massively expansive experience of my heart area. Eventually, along that same time, there was also what a lot of people call the Kundalini awakening experience, where it was like I got split in two by a lightning bolt. Boom. And, that kind of thing. That was fun. The Dark Night of the Soul showed up. That was another interesting one. And but but even more importantly than that, what happens now is uh, simply presence. Can I just, if I stay with you, even while we're talking and thinking and stuff, uh, they always talk about the Prince of Peace and the presence of peace. And when when we really get to just notice, uh, it seems to me that I have a body and I have a mind, and I'm not either one of those. Those are just opportunities uh, to live through. Like a moment of the day is an opportunity to live through, to experience. And so, beholding someone in love, my experience of that is the spark behind my eyes notices the spark behind your eyes is the same. and that becomes what fills consciousness. And of course, my attention may bop around a bit, and we may talk about different things or share a meal or a cup of coffee. But the constant is, how the Indians say namaste. Uh, my experience of that is my spark sees your spark is the same spark. And
Oh, it's like, yeah,
yes,
yeah, it's sort of like a profound oneness.
yeah, it's such a treat when you no longer have to put up boundaries and you no longer have to protect yourself. Because the world is bridges of possibilities, and the mind doesn't get that. The mind is always good, bad, right, wrong, left, right, up, down. I say salt, you say pepper. What's the opposite of vanilla? Most people say chocolate. Makes no sense. But the mind loves that stuff. Versus uh, what we are is light. What we are is love. What we are is every color of the rainbow. And we pretend mentally to live in a black and a white world.
You're listening to the Inspire Me with Jay podcast. Please do like and subscribe to the channel, bringing hope and inspiration to the world.
So, do you have times where you go out in the and do this holding of love with people, or is it like, do you just sort of just
All the
do it
time.
whenever?
Yeah, great question. If I ever find myself mental, living in the land of the mental monkey madness, uh, the practice is take a walk. I call it the 2020 power walk because that's really what it is. It's Mr. 2020 taking a walk, remembering that the master state is I'm a blessing, I'm a gift, so are you. And if I take a walk, uh, holding in mind what I am is the blessing. Literally every person I pass and anyone who pops to mind, uh, I simply experience them as blessed, lifting them up in some way if I'm drawn to it. And it's pretty sweet because instead of me focusing on, I've got a problem, and the mental going, how do I fix this problem? How do I end this problem? How do I, whatever this problem? I take a walk as pure possibility. And walking is pure possibility. I often meet the coolest kids. It's funny because I've been imagining getting on podcasts. So I joined the podcast group where we found each other. And I sent you a message basically saying something like about 80% of the people that I book with never show up. They're too busy. Or they show up and they say, hey, can we reschedule? And it's a disappointment to me because we've got over 4 million listens to our podcast on Spotify and another almost 2 million on YouTube. And it ain't hard. It's just the fire that I see through consumes opportunities to be the blessing. So I can't help it. And when we live this way, as far as I can tell, what you are and what I am is pure possibility. And we wake up believing in problems to the point where we believe that we're a problem. And once we do that, you can watch the world today. The world today is stuck on, here's my position, and I got a problem with you, Jay. You're a white, middle-aged guy without hair. So I got a problem with you because you're privileged. And people spout this crazy shit because they're mental. And the phrase that came into mind years ago was, I returned to the woods to lose my mind and come to my senses. I engaged in mantra to lose my mind. I went to the woods to lose my mind and come back to my senses. The way I experience it now, and if you want, I'll share how this moved me around the world.
Sure.
The most sacred thing we can do is bless that what we behold. So this stuff moved me around the world, Jay. I was living in Pennsylvania, a beautiful part of the world, and I didn't want to be there anymore. And I was imagining being home and held. That just might be the core of meditation, feeling home and feeling held. And so I'm exploring feeling home and feeling held. And I wake up with this crazy idea. I'm studying this marketing guru, Dan Kennedy, who was in Ohio, the next state over. And Dan said, do market research. And I'm a lazy guy. And I thought, before I spend 20, 30, 100 hours doing market research, I'm going to put up a simple little offer. I'll do a one-on-one recording for you, Jay. I've got a background in what's called NLP, what Tony Robbins learned years and years ago. I'll make a one-on-one recording for you, Jay, for $100. We'll email back and forth 3 times. I'll make the recording. I'll anonymize it, so nothing about you is said in it, but this is designed to give to you. And I'll resell the recording to other people too. And so a fellow named Mike in Melbourne, Australia buys one. And he loves it. He tells his friend Leanne, who buys one, and she loves it. She tells her sister, who buys one, and she loves it. Now, all these cool kids in Melbourne, Australia are members of a Forex trading group. And like all 20 of them buy one, and they love it. And then they reach out and they say, what would it take to fly you around the world and train us for a weekend? And I just said, hey, I'll come for 2 weeks, pay my way and give me $2,000 or something ridiculous. It would be fun, fly around the world. I flew around the world. A fellow rented me for the weekend, an old client. 2 days after that, I walked into the trading room where all these traders are. And I saw my wife. She was the 3rd person to buy the recording. Her name is Victoria. She was the 3rd person in this group to buy that custom recording pack. And instead of staying for 2 weeks, I did a weekend training, stayed for 3 weeks, went back to Pennsylvania, and just told everyone I'm leaving. I found home. I found held. And that literally, that meditative kind of existence moved me around the world. The cool thing is, and I'm sure you would notice this, when people say, when you get out of your way, Jay, which really means when the mental monkeys shut up, you're open to divine ideas. I thought my idea of making a $100 offer for a custom tape, Jay, and you can tell I'm a middle-aged white guy too. I guess I have privilege, but I grew up in the age of cassette tapes. And so I call it tapes, but they were MP3 downloads. And to live in a world where I think what I'm doing, my mind says this would be a great idea, but it just popped in out of the blue, like from the clouds, the divineness. And that project wasn't for market research. That was for me to find my way home. I made those recordings. I finished doing that, started trading Forex full time, found that wasn't for me. I could have been really good, but I went back to doing what I love, which is this stuff, teaching and sharing what helps people notice, hey Jay, you and I, the spark behind our eyes, it all comes from the same place. And that is, to me, what mindless meditation is about. We move, we realize that we're not the mind. The mind is something we have, like fingers and toes. The body is something fun too that we have. But what we are is that shared spark of sacred behind the eyes. We're the fire that consumes and transforms. We're what gives life.
So, I mean, do you have programs where you teach it now? Like, do you teach online too?
I do. I've got a community with about 50 people in it that we get together a couple times a month on live calls. I've got courses that I teach. The one that I absolutely adore is a course called ManifestingMasteryDeluxe.com. ManifestingMasteryDeluxe.com is really cool because it seems to be teaching you how to manifest what you want, and it does. But more importantly, it's teaching you to stop living in thinking and to start living as the throned king in your life. When you came here with a gift, Jay, and part of your gift is your passion for what you're doing with this, and that gift gives to me so I can give to you and we can give to them. And so I'll tell you how we made up ManifestingMasteryDeluxe.com. It used to be called Manifesting Mastery Course. But when I came here to Australia, I came on a visitor visa, and I had to leave every 90 days. And every morning, Victoria and I would sit on our little stoop and drink coffee. And I had this crazy idea. What if I taught people how to transform their lives? What if I made up a little course with that in mind? If Jay flew to Australia on a visitor visa and stayed in our little mud brick cottage out back, which is where I'm sitting now, and I could only share one cup of coffee with him a day, what would I teach him? What would I invite him to do? And so we made up a little course that takes about 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day. Watch a video, listen to this, go play. See you tomorrow, Jay. And the trick that we came up with, it was every 7 days we say, hey, Jay, here's our personal experience from playing with the last 7 days. Email us yours so we get to know you. That was 13 years ago. This past year, we upgraded it and added 90 videos and a Facebook group and calls every 90 days or so that once you're in, you got a Facebook group and that you can chat with us live, and it's just cool. So that's my biggie right there. That Manifesting Mastery Deluxe is just sweet, and it really is. It's an adventure in sacred sight. It's an adventure into the power of possibility that you're on.